Dressing is an important part of African culture. But do you know that the African dressing pattern has significantly affected the global fashion trends? Stay tuned. Let's explore how. Welcome back to this channel, where we explore deep into the rich fabric and diverse tapestry of the African culture. In this video, we'll explore the profound influence of the African dressing pattern on the world's fashion trends. Citing from the ancient textiles of the pharaohs to the modern fashion weeks in Paris, Milan, and New York, Africa's impact on global fashion cannot be overlooked. Let's take a stroll through time and journey across continents to see how African culture has shaped and continues to shape the world of fashion. African fashion has a rich history of diversity as the continent itself. Prior to the rise of modern fashion, African communities already had a unique styles and textiles. Ancient Egypt, one of the most advanced civilizations in human history, was known for its sophisticated woven linens, which were often beautified with gold and other precious elements. The Nubians, who ruled Egypt for a period, also had significant effect to the rich textile traditions of the community. In West Africa, countries like Ghana, Mali, and Songhai were prominently known for their weaving techniques, which produced fabrics like kente and mudcloth. These textiles were worn as a means of communication, with different patterns and colors representing various social statuses, historical events, and cultural beliefs. Until today, these traditional African textiles are produced using ancient methods that have been passed down through generations. The patterns and colors of this fabric remains iconic and symbolic, preserving the cultural heritage of the African people. As the world became closely connected, so also was the reach of African textiles. One of the most recognizable and admired African textiles is kente cloth, which was made by the Ashanti people of Ghana. Kente has become symbolic as a pride and heritage of the African natio. The kente was worn by leaders and dignitaries across the continent and in the African diaspora. Another iconic textile is the mudcloth, or bogolanfini, from West Africa. Bogolanfini was specifically dominant among the Bambara people of Mali. This textile is a hand-woven cotton fabric that is dyed using fermented mud, which creates intricate and symbolic patterns. Mudcloth has been embraced by global fashion designers who harness its unique aesthetic into their fashion collections. Another iconic African textile fabric that influenced the global fashion trends is the Ankara, also known as African wax print fabric. The Ankara fabric has rapidly become a global phenomenon. Although it was originally inspired by Indonesian batik, Ankara was very famous in West Africa and is now a staple in fashion both within and outside the continent. Its vibrant hue and bold aesthetics have made it a favorite choice among fashion designers and consumers across the globe. These textiles are no longer restrained within the confines of Africa. Looking at the runways of Paris to the streets of New York, African fabrics are being admired, celebrated, and reimagined in new and exciting ways. Designers are not only gaining inspiration from these textiles, but are also collaborating with African artisans to create amazing pieces that honor the tradition while breaking the limits of contemporary fashion. In recent years, African culture has become a major influence in contemporary fashion. Designers like Oswald Boateng, Duro Olowu, and Stella Jean have brought African aesthetics to the global limelight, giving a blend of traditional African elements with modern design. Oswald Boateng, a British designer of Ghanaian descent, is known for his sharp tailoring and vibrant use of color, which are deeply influenced by his African heritage. His work has redefined the modern suit, bringing a touch of African flair to men's fashion. Another iconic personality that have significantly affected the African fashion industry is Duro Olowu, who is a Nigerian-born designer. Duro Okuwa has also risen as a beacon of light in the fashion industry with his bold prints and eclectic designs. His fashion collections often feature a blend of African textiles and patterns, which he combines with trends and influences from around the world. Stella Jean, an Italian-Haitian designer, is another prominent figure in fashion who is deeply rooted in her African background. Her designs are a celebration of African culture, often featuring Ankara fabrics and other African-inspired materials. Stella Jean's work is a representation to the power of fashion to tell stories and bridge cultures. To mention but a few, among other designers, who has helped to bring African fashion to the forefront of the global fashion landscape. Celebrities like Beyoncé, Rihanna, and Lupita Nyong'o have been spotted wearing African-inspired designs, further propagating the influence of African culture in the fashion world. The rapid increase of Afrocentric fashion has also been fueled by the Black Lives Matter movement and a growing global interest in African culture and history. As more people develop interest to reconnect with their roots and celebrate their background and heritage, African fashion has emerged as a powerful medium of expression and identity. The African diaspora has played a significant role in spreading African culture and fashion all around the world. From the streets of Harlem to the neighborhoods of Brixton, African-inspired fashion has been an icon of pride, resistance, and identity for people of African descent. In the United States, the Harlem Renaissance of the 1920s and 1930s was a cultural movement that praised Black culture and creativity. During this time, African-inspired fashion became a representation of pride and empowerment. This tradition lives until this modern day, with designers and influencers in the African diaspora using fashion to celebrate their heritage and challenge mainstream narratives. One prominent figure that is worthy of note in the diaspora fashion landscape is Kirby Jean Raymond, the founder of Pierre Moss. Jean Raymond, of Haitian descent, has made a name for himself by creating fashion collections that depict African and Caribbean culture, and also addresses social issues such as racism and inequality. His work has been praised for its boldness and its commitment to storytelling through fashion. Another key personality is Edward Enninful, who is the first Black editor-in-chief of British Vogue. Enninful, who was born in Ghana, has been a champion of diversity in the fashion industry. He has used his platform to showcase African fashion and culture on a global landscape. In the digital age, African diaspora influencers have also played a significant role in promoting African fashion. Platforms like Instagram and YouTube have enabled these influencers to reach a global audience, sharing their unique styles and concept and inspiring others to embrace African-inspired fashion. These influencers are not just promoting fashion. They are also educating their followers about the cultural significance of the fabric they put on, thereby propagating a deeper understanding and appreciation of African culture. As we anticipate the future, it's quite obvious that African fashion will continue to play a crucial role in the global fashion industry. Upcoming designers from all around the continent are breaking the limits and pushing the boundaries of fashion with a blend of traditional techniques and modern innovation. One of the most exciting trends in African fashion is the emphasis on sustainability. African designers are leading the way in sustainable fashion, using locally sourced materials and traditional methods that have a lower environmental impact. Brands like Studio 189, which was founded by Rosario Dawson and Abrima Erwaya, are at the forefront of this movement. The aim is to create a fashion that is not only beautiful, but also ethical and sustainable. Technology is also playing an important role in the evolution of African fashion. Designers are going extreme by experimenting with new materials and techniques like 3D printing and digital design to create innovative pieces that challenge traditional perspective of fashion. The integration of technology and tradition is giving rise to breeding a new wave of African designers who are redefining what it means to be a fashion designer in the 21st century. These upcoming designers are making a name for their works on the global fashion industry and are also helping to change the narrative around African fashion. No longer seen as merely ethnic or tribal, African fashion is being recognized for its creativity, innovation, and cultural importance. It is a powerful reminder that African culture is not just part of history, but it also aids in shaping the future of fashion. The global impact of African fashion is undeniably iconic. Events ranging from fashion weeks in Lagos, Accra, and Johannesburg to international collaborations with major brands, African fashion is making its presence felt by illuminating its essence on the world stage. African fashion weeks have become major events on the global fashion calendar, attracting designers, buyers, and fashion enthusiasts from around the world. These events showcase the best of African fashion, which provides a platform for emerging designers to showcase their work and connect with a global audience, and additionally seek potential collaboration opportunity. International brands are also taking cognizance. Collaborations between African designers and global brands have led to collections that celebrate African culture and bring it to a wider audience. For example, Nike's collaboration with Nigerian designer Yegwa Ukpo resulted in a collection that fused traditional African design elements with modern sportswear, thereby creating one-pieces that were both stylish and culturally significant. Global campaigns featuring African fashion are also helping to raise awareness and appreciation for the continent's rich fashion tapestry. These campaigns often feature fashion models and influencers of African descent, highlighting the beauty and diversity of African culture. As African fashion continues to gain global recognition and influence, it's clear that it is no longer on the fringes of the fashion world. It is a central part of the global fashion industry, shaping trends, influencing designers, and inspiring individuals who are passionate about fashion across the globe. African fashion is not just a trend, it's a movement, one that celebrates the beauty, diversity, and creativity of the African continent. African fashion culture has strongly influenced the global fashion trends. Afrofashion is a true testament to the power of creativity, tradition, and identity. From ancient textiles to modern-day fashion weeks, Africa's impact on the world of fashion is profound and enduring. As we continue to explore and celebrate African culture, it's worthy of note to recognize and honor the contributions that African fashion has made to the global industry. Whether it's through the vibrant colors of Ankara, the unique patterns of Kente, or the creative designs of emerging African designers, African fashion continues to inspire and influence the world. And as we look to the future, one thing is certain: the influence of African culture on global fashion is here to stay. I'd like to know which Afro fashion you would like to add to your collection in the comments. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the world of African fashion. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like this video, share with friends, and subscribe to this channel for more deep dives into the rich and diverse culture of Africa. Until next time, keep exploring, keep celebrating, and keep rediscovering the world through an African perspective.